Assalamu alaikum everyone again. Bismillah, we can start with a few minutes of a delay. So, ahlan wa sahlan, welcome to the course. Inshallah, I will give you the plan, put you in the loop, put you in the picture for how we are going to do this and how we are going to spend the next 5 Sundays, inshallah, together. So, there's a few more brothers and sisters. I'm not sure if they want the recording. Some of them are not going to attend live. But it's okay. Inshallah, we can start, we can proceed. So the plan for the next 5 Sundays. Tonight, depends on where you are. We will start with an introduction about the topic, generally speaking. So it will be a quick lecture on the topic of penalties, why we need them, why they are necessary, what's the goal, how they can protect and save our society, to understand the philosophy behind them, and then we will dive into the topic. We will start with the first lesson. Today's lesson is the definition of adultery and zina and what it actually is and how it is proven. Because there's 2 ways to prove anything in Islam. Either you go and you do something we call iqrar, and you are the witness against yourself. Yani you go and you commit and you actually, what's the word for it? You confess, you admit that you did something, regardless of what it is, or there's witnesses who witness that you did something. So there's 2 ways. We'll speak about them and they will be repeated the whole course, because this is the universal way in life and in Islam on how to prove that somebody did something. Yani, in other words, either you go and you say, I did this, or somebody comes, 2, 3, or 4 people, and they witness that you did something. Right. So today we'll speak about the definition, then we will speak about the first type of proving that somebody did something, which is al-iqrar, which is you admitting that you did something. We'll speak about these 2 tonight. Then in the next lesson, we will speak about the witnesses in Islam. And this is very interesting, because you will be surprised how the process exactly is when it comes to these things in Islam. There's very interesting details. This is all I'm going to say. This is next Sunday, inshallah. And then we will speak about repentance and tawbah and how this can remove the punishment. Then the third lesson will be on the first 2 punishments, which are the death penalties for zina. Because there's 8 punishments, like I said in the reel. The first 2 are death punishments, which will be explained. I don't want to burn the classes ahead of time. And then the 4th lesson, we will speak about the 6 other punishments. And then the last one is just a few random things related to the topic, and then we will have a big Q&A and feedback session, inshallah, together. So this is the plan. Okay, and tonight we will start with the introduction and the first lesson. طيب. If that is clear, then inshallah we can begin with الصلاة على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. The introduction. In this introduction, we will technically give answers to the following questions. The first one is, why do we need penalties in life, generally speaking? This is one question. Another question is, why isn't everyone free to do their own thing? It's very much like the first one. The third one is a bit more interesting. Why does Islam call for freedom and yet punishes people if they break certain rules? And this goes back to us understanding the concept of freedom. If somebody is interested, on our YouTube channel, you can find a lecture on freedom that I gave this last Muharram, on the 10th night of Ashura, of Muharram, which is the night of Ashura. I spoke about freedom and its definition and how we can understand this properly in Islam. Because we say that the highest rank of the Holy Prophet ﷺ was that he was a servant of Allah. And we always speak about servanthood, servitude, how to be a good servant, and then we say be free. But how can a servant be free? So in that lecture I explained this concept in detail, inshallah. If anyone is interested, you can have a look. And then we will speak about who's responsible for these penalties, especially in the time of ghaiba. Because some people come and say, look, we accept everything in Islam as long as the ma'soom, the infallible himself, is present. If the ma'soom is present, we don't mind. But none of us is infallible, so certain things we cannot accept because the ma'soom isn't present. Right. So how can we apply these penalties in the time of ghaiba, when the imam is not present? So this is technically it. Of course, there will be a few additions. Like, when it comes to penalties, generally speaking, I said in one of the reads, if you're watching a field, okay, and then you see people suddenly walk in and blow up, you would feel that it is your responsibility to protect those people. Okay? And those people should really appreciate when there is a sign, when a street is blocked, a field is blocked, to protect them. Okay? So they should thank the one that warned them, because this is how you're saving their lives. Because there's limits, there is things, there's places they cannot enter. So if you protect them, they should thank you. And Allah Ta'ala says in the Holy Quran, in the verse that says, وَتِلْكَ حُدُودُ اللَّهِ وَمَنْ يَتَعَدَّى حُدُودَ اللَّهِ فَقَدْ ظَلَمَ نَفْسَهُ. In English, he's saying these are the limits set by Allah. And whoever transgresses Allah's limits has truly wronged his own soul. So these limitations, Allah showed us them. He warned us, He showed us. He said, don't enter this field. Don't go beyond this limit. Because then you will commit injustice to yourself, to your soul, to your own nafs. So I'm warning you. I am warning you for your safety. And we will explain this in a bit in detail. Because somebody might come and say, but how do these penalties save lives? And how can this penalty, how can this ruling save anyone's life? See, we have rulings in Islam. And these rulings, they should be followed. Okay? In order for us to reach our individual perfection and social perfection. Because Islam is a social religion. If you look at Hajj, Ziyarah, Salatul Jama'ah, all these things, helping each other, being there for each other, family relationships, Islam is a very social religion. So the rulings in Islam are there for us to reach our individual perfection and social perfection. How can this be guaranteed and be done? Through the concept of reward and punishment. We have rewards and we have punishments in the hereafter as well as in this dunya. So there's reward and punishment in the akhirah, and there is reward and punishment in this dunya. Since that one commits between him and his Lord that usually don't have a social aspect are sins that no worldly penalty will be applied to. Okay? Most sins that one commits between him and his Lord, there will be no penalty. But sins that one commits with a social impact, these ones, there's a penalty for them. And this is what we call hudud. We're taking a course on hudud now. So sins with a social impact, you are getting punished for them in this dunya. But why? To save and protect society. How? Let me break it down a bit to have a more clear picture. There's a punishment for theft in Islam. But why? To save and protect people's wealth. If you steal, you are getting punished, because Islam doesn't want a society that steals. So for theft, there's a very hard punishment. But why? To save and protect people's wealth. There is a punishment for false accusation. Why? To protect people's reputation in society. Imagine there's no punishment for this. You can just walk around and accuse people of things. This person did this person did that. Islam doesn't want this. So Islam, to protect people's reputations, put a punishment on false accusation. There's a punishment for adultery, zina, to protect individuals from wrong relationships and have them follow the halal ways to marriage. And to protect lineages and family ties. Islam wants to protect the family concept. So he said there's marriage. If you have any physical relationship outside of this marriage, then this is not wanted. There is a punishment for waging war. We'll speak about this inshallah. Not in this course, but inshallah in one of the upcoming ones. On waging war, on scaring people. In Islam, it is punishable if somebody takes out a gun, a weapon, and threatens people in a city, in a village. Islam punishes for that. But why? To make people feel safe and let them live in peace. Islam is all about peace. So Islam punishes for that. And there's a punishment if somebody leaves the faith, becomes a murtad, we say. Somebody might think and say, okay, but this person left Islam, so why would he get a punishment? It's between him and his Lord. We say, no, this is going to affect people. And when it affects people, it has a social aspect. And Islam wants to protect itself, wants to protect the religion from getting weak, and it wants to protect the healthy way of thinking. Because this is the truth. Islam is al-haq, is truth. If somebody leaves the religion, okay, and it is known, then this is a danger on society. So this is why Islam punishes for that as well. So, like I said, penalties in Islam, they have the purpose and goal to protect society, to ensure there's a healthy environment, everyone is safe, everyone is good, their minds, hearts, bodies, families, wealth, everything is protected. Okay? And it makes sense. If I told you, if somebody has diabetes, okay, and you cut off a body part, one of the body parts, to save the body, the whole body, wouldn't this be acceptable and okay? And even if it means that you are going to sacrifice a body part, it is acceptable, it is okay, it is wise, it is smart to do that. Even if you lose a body part, you protect the other body parts. So even if it means that somebody has to leave this world and this dunya to protect society, to protect the other individuals. Okay, it only makes sense. Like, and the philosophy should be clear by now. Let's just summarize it to continue to the next point. We said the philosophy of penalties in life, broadly speaking, is to maintain order, to guide behavior, and uphold principles. That's number one. Number two is to respect the shared values and norms. Because if we didn't have penalties, we would have total chaos. Okay? And number three is the fear of these penalties. Okay? It discourages individuals from engaging in harmful and haram behavior. Like, so this is why I said, if somebody becomes a murtad and he doesn't tell anyone, if he leaves Islam and he doesn't tell anyone, nobody knows, he can live in that society, no one is going to harm them, they are not going to face any penalty or punishment because they left the religion, they committed a sin between them and Allah, and no one knows about this, there's no punishment, it's fine. But as soon as somebody knows, as soon as they make it known, then this is a different aspect and they will get the punishment in front of people's eyes. Allah will speak about this. So the Quran summarizes this in one verse, saying, وَلَكُمْ فِي الْقِصَاصِ حَيَاةٌ يَا أُولِي الْأَلْبَابِ لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. Which means in English, there is security of life for you in the law of retaliation, or people of reason, so that you may become mindful of Allah. So in these punishments, there's life, there's safety. And this is why they are so harsh and strict. Plus, this is why in Islam, when somebody is getting punished, there has to be a group that witnesses these punishments. Okay? Because these individuals, you will find out, and I can tell you from now with certainty, these individuals that deserve, that receive the punishment, they really deserve it. Once you understand this, you will agree. Once you know the backstory and how it's done, you will agree that the ones who actually receive the punishment, they do deserve the punishment. Right. So Islam says there has to be a group of people that witnesses the punishment. The Quran says it. The Quran says, وَلْيَشْهَدْ عَذَابَهُمَا طَائِفَةٌ مِنَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. And let the number of believers witness their punishment. Let them witness, let them see. Why? Because they want to make sure that no one commits one of these crimes. Right. Let me share this story with you. I always say this, I said it in multiple gatherings. I once received 2 videos on WhatsApp. And I opened them. I opened the first video. I had a look at the video. All I was seeing was, it was a video in Iran, of course. There was a crane and there were 3 ropes hanging down. And each rope was on somebody's neck. And I could clearly tell from the video that it was 3 young men. It just showed. So I was watching the video, the crane was still low and they were standing on something and they were still good. Of course the faces were covered, you couldn't see the face. There was a bag on their faces, on their heads, and they weren't showing. So after a few seconds, you can see how the crane goes up, and the higher it went, of course, the more they struggled. They couldn't breathe and they were shaking, and then they stopped shaking and they died. Me watching this video, even though I know they deserve this probably, but just watching this video gave me a heartache. Like, I felt a pain in my chest. I felt very uncomfortable, like, wow, you know? So when I was done with the video, I opened the other video, because I received two. When I opened the other video, it was actually showing the crime they did to deserve this punishment. So I opened them in the wrong order. So then I opened the video that actually showed the crime they committed. This video was showing the following. It was a jewelry store, and there was an old man. You can clearly see he is an old man. It was a tiny store, like just imagine in one of the villages somewhere in Iran, an older man going to work, minding his business, and he was standing at the door of the shop, at the entrance of the shop. He was just standing there, and then you see that he's moving back and going behind the counter. And then you see three young men enter the shop. The old man, he was busy showing them around. One of them was like conversing with him, and you can see in the video that the man was clearly showing him something. And then you see that he pulls out something, okay? I don't know what it was, and he started stabbing the man in the neck multiple times. And once he was doing that, the other two guys jumped over the counter. They had a bag, they started putting in the gold and diamonds and so on. They took what they took, and then they left the shop. And you can see everything on video. When I saw this video, then I watched the first video again, the punishment. And I had a very cold heart. I had no empathy, I didn't feel anything. And I said, they deserve this. Because this old man probably has a family, has a wife, he has children, he has siblings. He's just working, minding his business, doing his job. He's waking up early to go. His family was waiting for him. He's doing what he has to do. And then, because three lazy young men have nothing to do, have no job maybe, I don't know, except go kill a man to steal his shop, I felt, why? Why? They do deserve this punishment. This shouldn't be acceptable in any society. Why would they do that? Right. So I felt, after seeing the crime, that no, they do deserve this, because no one should have any reason to do something like this. So I didn't feel them anymore, because I saw the punishment, the crime that led to that punishment. Right. Now, the next point is a bit debatable, you can say. But back in the day, when the death penalty was still applied, okay, we had less crimes. Nowadays, people might think, it's okay, let me go, let me commit a crime, let me try my luck, okay, rob a bank, rob somebody's house, steal a car, whatever it is. Okay, let me go, try my luck. Worst case is what? I will go to jail for a certain amount of time, and I will be released again. Then I can be free again. Worst case is, 5 years, no problem. It's worth the risk. So they say, let me go try. And if it doesn't work out, some jails are very good, you know, they give you food, you're not on the street, they care about you, whatever. Because there's a report from 2018 made by the BJS, the Bureau of Justice Statistics. They found that approximately 68 of released prisoners were arrested again within 3 years. 68% within 3 years were arrested again. So putting the jail as a punishment didn't prevent them from committing a crime again. Okay? And 83 of them, they committed the crime again within 9 years. So see how high the rate is? Because the punishment isn't that strong, isn't heavy, isn't something that makes them not commit that punishment. So the harder the punishment, the more likely people won't commit the crime. This is the claim. Yeah, I said this is debatable. You might agree, you might not agree. But I see personally like this. Look, back in the day, if somebody speeded, went over the speed limit, there was only a money fine. They used to fine you with paying money. $200, $500, whatever it is. People who had money didn't really care. Like they would speed, they didn't care, there was no points, there was nothing. And then they upgraded the punishment and the penalty and the fine. Now if you speed, you get points, and once you get points, you can lose your license. They can take your car, they can prevent you from driving. So the punishment became harder. People don't care about the money. They all say, oh, alhamdulillah, it's just money. If they speed and they only get a money fine, it's just money. Because no one cares. The punishment isn't as hard and strict. But if it's more than money, if it's losing your license, if it's losing your car, whatever, then you rethink if you should speed or not. Right. So this all makes the idea stronger of the harder the punishment, the more likely people will not commit the crime. Right. After mentioning all of this, I can tell you that Islam has very harsh punishments when it comes to protecting social life. But you will discover how much mercy Islam has and how cautious Islam is when it comes to applying these penalties. Islam is very, very cautious when it comes to protecting these individuals. You will see, inshallah, when we speak about the witnesses, and inshallah in the next lesson, next Sunday, you will see how detailed and how beautiful and how much Islam wants to protect the individuals. Once we speak about that, you will agree and you will have a better understanding, but you will see how much mercy there is, inshallah. Right. Because Islam, like I said, the ultimate goal is safety and peace. Because a society that does not live in peace, a society that doesn't feel safe, won't be able to grow, won't be able to build anything. Okay? And this is why Ibrahim alayhi salam, Nabiullah Ibrahim, what did he pray and say? وَإِذْ قَالَ إِبْرَاهِيمُ رَبِّ اجْعَلْ هَذَا بَلَدًا آمِنًا. And remember when Ibrahim said, my Lord, Ya Allah, make this city secure, make it safe. Al-Aman, safety is something that's very important. طيب. When it comes to how are these punishments applied in our time and age, we say we have an Islamic judge. This Islamic judge is the one that has the right to order such punishments. Okay? So without an Islamic judge, none of these will be effective. So don't think it's something you can do on your own, or any sheikh can do, or anyone can do. There has to be an Islamic judge who gives the order to one of these punishments, because you'll see there's multiple punishments. Okay? Right. And the hudud, the punishments, the penalties, there's 7 different types. We're going to speak about the first one in this course in the next 5 sessions, which is the punishment for adultery. Haddu zina. This is the first of the punishments, the first of the 7. Yeah. The second one is the punishment for homosexuality. Haddul liwat. This one we will not speak about. For multiple reasons, it's not included in the next upcoming courses. Then we have the punishment of false accusation. This one we might speak about, we might not speak about. And it depends. I'll see inshallah when the time comes. The fourth one is the punishment for drinking alcohol. Haddu shurb. The fifth one is the punishment for theft. Haddu sariqa. The sixth one is the punishment for waging war. Haddul muharaba. And the seventh one is, I don't know how to pronounce the word in English, but it's different punishments, like other punishments. Hudud mutafarriqa, okay? Different ones. We will speak about them as well. Some of them, at least. Right. And we will start with Haddul Zina. Before we speak about Zina, I just want to clarify what the word Hadd means. Because we say Hudud, we're studying Hudud, and we're going to speak about Al-Hadd, Haddul Zina. Hadd has one of two meanings. It either means limit, okay, and in this context, it would mean to prevent people from overstepping and entering dangerous zones that Allah has forbidden. And this is the meaning we spoke about in the beginning of this lecture. The second meaning, when we say had, would be fixed or set. Yani mahdud, it's fixed, it's set. Because these punishments are set and fixed by Allah Ta'ala. Unlike other types of punishment that are not set and fixed by Allah, but the Islamic judge has the choice to choose how to punish for certain actions. Okay, for example, saying bad words to someone, doing a haram act that is not zina. Okay, here the Islamic judge, he decides how to punish for these actions. There's multiple ways and punishments, and the Islamic judge decides. It's up to him. There is no fixed or set punishment. So there's one of these two meanings for had. Either limit or fixed and set. Right. This is the introduction. Generally speaking, to find our way into this course of adultery, inshallah.